reframing the stop being a little bitch. You're not a little bitch boy anymore. And if you start doing this stuff, then now we could talk about, all right, now how do I actually flip the switch? How do I, and once you start these things we're going to talk about right now, you'll be able to start automatically changing your state. This is all about changing your state from bitch to beast, or from villain to hero, however you want to talk about it. From the worst version of yourself to that best version of yourself that you know that you're freaking capable of.
Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you
What's up, freaks? Welcome to another episode of the Steve Eckert Show podcast. And today we're going to be talking about changing your state, really flipping that switch from a bitch to a beast. How to immediately, we're going to give you strategies and tactics so you can start using right now, today, on how to immediately change your state, your perspective, and how you go about how you attack your day and life. But before we start that, I have to apologize. Last week's episode, I had these props out in the beginning, these gloves that I was wearing in the beginning, and this cyclone spear. Last week, we talked about family rituals and routines. And check this thing out. Check this mean-ass spear. I don't know if it caught the focus on that, but look at this thing. It's like a 4-foot spear with a cyclone tip on the end. Anyway, we were talking about rituals and routines and your family rhythms last week. And that right there, that spear, was a birthday gift from the family. And then on Christmas, they got me these 5'11" gloves with these little hard knuckle combat 5'11" gloves. And the point was, we don't give normal gifts in our family. We do the gifts that we know people actually want and like, and the weird shit that they're into. And so I just forgot that I showed those in the beginning on last week's episode, and we never even talked about them again because we got so fired up into all the other rituals and routines. So go watch that. But that's what that was all about. It was about the gift, the way that we give gifts and the type of gifts we give and the shit that makes us happy as a freak family. But today we're talking about how to change your state, how to change your state from a bitch to a beast, and how to tap in and use both of those and weaponize, even weaponizing the bitch version of yourself. And that's what this is all about. And we talk about how to weaponize everything on this show, on the Steve Eckert Show podcast, how to weaponize everything, including failures and tragedies and even your victories, but also your losses and obstacles that are in your way and roadblocks, how to weaponize all that. We're even going to talk about how to weaponize the bitch version of you. And yeah, we all have it. And I could say that from personal experience because I know all men have that bitch version of themselves. And we're going to talk about how to flip that switch on how you think and operate in your mindset, your family, your fitness, and your business. So we're talking about changing your state, flipping the switch from bitch to beast. Now, what does this even mean? What is it? How do you do that? Well, first, you have to quit and stop being a little bitch. You need to quit procrastinating on getting things started, on taking action and moving forward towards whatever your goals and dreams are. Stop fucking procrastinating. That's the first thing you need to do to change your state. These are just we're building up to the actual strategies and tactics. I'm going to give you actual tangible strategies and tactics to be able to change your state. But first you need to quit procrastinating. You need to quit making fucking excuses and blaming other people for your circumstances. You need to quit avoiding change. Change of state requires you to accept change. Everything in the world is constantly changing. You need to fucking accept that shit is changing around you all the freaking time. And you need to quit trying to control everything. Trying to control all the shit that's impossible to control. The only thing you can really control in this world is your mind, your thoughts, your reactions, your attitude, your effort. So stop trying to control all the other shit you can't control. Yeah, you can influence it, but stop trying to control how other people think, how other people act. Worry about how you think and react. That's what you can really freaking control in this world. Quit talking shit. Quit talking shit about yourself, to yourself. Quit disrespecting yourself. Like, how are you going to expect anyone else to respect you if you don't respect yourself? Now, this is all we're just building up to before we even talk about how to actually change your state. These are just the mind frame shifts you need to make, the reframing mindset strategy you need to have. So stop talking shit to yourself about yourself. But then stop talking shit about other people, especially when they're not there. You have an issue with a motherfucker, go speak to that person face to face, man the fuck up, stop behind the internet, behind a screen, behind a keyboard, and you have something to fucking, a tough conversation needs to be had. Stop being a little bitch and stop talking about other people. Little schoolgirls gossip about people, not a motherfucking man. So stop doing that because that shit ain't cool. So stop being a little bitch. Quit the talking shit over there on the internet and the gossip and all this other bullshit and blaming and complaining and passive aggressive behavior. It's all bitch attitude, bitch moves. So these are kind of the preambles to changing your state. You need to quit avoiding the hard shit, the obstacles, the things you're afraid, the confrontations. You need to run towards a fucking burning building, run towards the gunfire, not away from it. Attack the fucking hills in your life. And stop living in the past and stop living in the future and get over your little fucked up childhood and boo-hoo, poor little me, mommy and daddy didn't love me enough and all this other bullshit. You're a grown-ass man. Get over that shit. Put on your fucking big boy pants. Stop worrying about the future and what might happen tomorrow or next week or next year. Like, operate to dominate this motherfucking day. This is the mindset you need before we even get into these strategies on flipping the switch. These are some mindset shifts, some reframing you need to make before we get into it. Lastly, or next, you need to quit being a fake motherfucker. Stop trying to please everyone else. Just be yourself. Be your freak self. Stop being who you want, who you think you're supposed to be, or who society wants you to be, or the Instagram or Facebook or mommy and daddy or your teachers or whoever else, the strangers or your fucking followers on the internet. Start living your own freaking life, not someone else's. And then finally, quit being an ungrateful little shit. Like, don't drown the person that taught you how to swim. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Don't be a flip-flopping, backstabbing, scumbag, slimy motherfucker. Like, you are not able to change your state and get out of the funk or whatever you want to call it when you're acting and operating in that way. And all those 10 things that I just quickly went over. And we went over those real quick, and those are all big things you need to do. Each one of those could technically be their own entire episode, a whole topic for a show. But I just wanted to hit on those things so you could start, again, reframing this shit. Stop being a little bitch. You're not a little bitch boy anymore. And if you start doing this stuff, then now we could talk about, all right, now how do I actually flip the switch? How do I, and once you start these things we're going to talk about right now, you'll be able to start automatically changing your state. This is all about changing your state from bitch to beast, or from villain to hero, however you want to talk about it. From the worst version of yourself to that best version of yourself that you know that you're freaking capable of. That's what this is about. So, all right, let's start with this bitch version of yourself, this worst version of yourself. I want you to, in your head, even close your eyes or even think of an actual picture you have of yourself at your fucking worst. What is that? Think of that picture. What's going on in that picture? And even go find it and use it. You can even make a before and after. You see the before and afters of fat dudes that lost a bunch of weight and now they're all fit and whatever. You can even create a version of this with that bitch version of yourself and that beast version of yourself. And we're going to go into 3 types. There's a couple different types we're going to go into. But I want you to think of this worst version of yourself. Think of an actual photo that you know of, that you've taken, that's just you at your very fucking worst. When you see that picture, you're like, oh my God, what a fucking loser. And I want you to think of that version of you and picture it. And I want you to give that version of you. So now you have the visual, that picture in your head. I want you to give that version of you a freaking name. That version of you in that picture. And here's the thing. I guarantee there's probably, most of the times when I have to do this, I've done this with thousands of people in person, like through these in-person live workshops that we do. And 90% of the time, there's some kind of alcohol or drugs involved in that picture. That's one of the downfalls of freaking men, the daddy issues that leads to the alcohol, leads to the women problems. And so think of that picture. I want you to give that bitch version of you a name. What is the bitch version of yourself? I want you to give it a name. What is the name that you can give that bitch version of yourself? And it could be a characteristic, a trait, a name, or something that resonates with you. I want you to think of it. Give that bitch version a name and let that name stick. Let that name mean something. So you have that version of yourself. You gave him a name. For me, his name is the Scumbag. He's just a loser, just causing shit out in the streets. And the picture is actually a picture the night before I left for Marine Corps boot camp. And it's just, I'm sitting there holding a 40 ounce of oldie that I used to drink an entire 40 ounce. Fucking nasty oldie or Crazy Horse, which is even nastier. I would drink the entire 40 ounce in one shot without coming up for a break. And I'll put the picture in the edit of this podcast so you could see it. That's a picture I think of like just at my worst, but it was at a transition phase where I was ready to have the ultimate change of state. Literally leaving the next day, they're going to shave that greasy hair off my head and go into Marine Corps boot camp. But it was just when I was just at my craziest, at the wildest, doing all kinds of crazy shit out in the streets. And this was the worst version of myself, and his name is the Scumbag. And I want you to think of that worst version. You gave him a name, so I'm thinking of the Scumbag. All right, I want you to answer these questions about that bitch version of you, that worst version of you. How does he think and act and talk? And I'm going to go through these real quick, so you could pause this if you need to do what you have to do, but you should actually be going through and writing this down. We actually have a workshop on this, a free workshop coming up online on Zoom where we're going to work through this together. So you can check out and look out for that coming up. But how does he think and act and talk? And then what are the words he uses? What's his vocabulary like? What does he talk like? How does he sound? Like what types of words does he use? What type of energy does he give off? What does his wife think about him? What does his mother think about him? How do his kids talk about him? And what does he do for a living? How much money does he make? What are his goals and dreams? This is that Scumbag. For me, it's the Scumbag, that loser version that you gave a name to that you're picturing in this picture. So I want you to answer those questions about him and soak those and take those answers. And this should be some deep, dark, dirty, horrible shit that you're putting in of the way that he thinks and talks and all this other shit. But you're going to connect that feeling and this thought of who this Scumbag is into that picture, into that name. So we have a name, we have a picture, we have a description. Now I want you to even think about music. Think about a song that clicks, that makes you think and have these same thoughts and feelings. And all those questions, you should pause this and take the time to answer all those questions and do deep. It should be like a page and a half written out to answer those questions, to really, in detail, describe this bitch, this worst version of yourself. And give him a name. Now I want you to, and then think of a song, music, some kind of music or song that when you hear it, it's like, oh shit, this gives me some flashbacks to that times of the Scumbag, the ways of the Scumbag. Like, what is that song that you have? Then I want you to have a mantra, like a saying about this time of life that when you think of this bitch version, like this is what would snap you out of it. And so for me, that's Scumbag. I have that picture the night before I went to boot camp. There's several songs. We don't need to get into what song it is, what the music is or whatever. But what are the mantras that connect you, that you're saying? For me, it's no excuses. Like, all right, if I start thinking of dipping into being like that bitch, that Scumbag version, that villain version of yourself, that worst version of yourself, just the term no excuses right off the bat helps me snap out of it. The phrase, don't be a little bitch, helps me snap out of not falling into the trap of that Scumbag. This is what I was saying about weaponizing your bitch tendencies. Thinking of, all right, when I think of that song, so we have an audio version of it. You have a vision of that picture, a visual. You gave that bitch version of yourself a name, that villain a name. So you have so many ways of connecting with that. You gave the real detailed description of it. You even have mantras that connect with that bitch version of yourself. This is how you weaponize your weaknesses. Imagine if you're ready to do something stupid. You're ready to do something that's out of character, that's against your morals or values, or some stupid bad decision you know is a bad decision. And you tap into this bitch version. You think of that picture, or you hear that song in your head, or you have one of those mantras, or even just say that bitch version's name, boom, you change your fucking state and you snap out of it. That's how you weaponize a weakness and you use this to your advantage. You turn a suffering into a superpower. You turn adversity into advantage. That's why it's flipping the switch from bitch to beast. This is how you do it. We're going so deep into that. And I went through that very quickly, but I want you to use that description. That description is very important because that song, when you hear that song, it's going to tap back into that description. All those questions I asked about that bitch version of you. That name that you gave is going to connect to that detailed description. That mantra you have is going to change your state and snap you out of that bitch version of your version of what I call the scumbag. So that's the bitch version of you. Now I want you to think of the hero, or in the project, we call it the modern day night version of you, the best version of you. We're not to the beast yet. We're going to get to the beast. This is bitch to beast, but in between, we're talking about that hero. You are the superhero version of yourself. And I want to think you at your best. You at your best, whether that's at some point in your life in the past, or that's now, maybe currently, like this hero, this knight in shining armor, this you at your best version. I want you to answer those same questions about that version of yourself. And maybe it's from a time you remember in the past. Maybe it's you right now because you've been working on yourself. If you've been following this show, and every week you will be the best version of yourself. You will be making a shitload more money. You will have more fulfillment and more purpose and higher meaning and a higher power and a fucking purpose-driven life just by listening to this show every freaking week. So I want you to now describe and answer those same questions of this hero version of yourself, this best version of yourself, this hero, this Superman version of yourself. How does he talk and think and act? What types of words does he use in his vocabulary? How does his wife talk about him? What does his mother think about him? How do his kids talk about him when he's not around, when they're talking to their friends? What does he do for a living? How much money does he make? What are his hopes, his dreams, his goals, his higher calling, his passions, his hobbies? Go deep into this hero version of yourself, this knight version of yourself, and describe it. Now that you have a detailed description of this hero version of yourself, think of a picture from your past, a picture that represents you at your best. When was it you at your best? And here's the thing about this picture. This picture is going to change often. That picture from the last section on the shitbird version of you, the bitch version, that picture is you're never going to change that picture probably because you're not going to get worse. But this best version of yourself, you're going to probably in your head change this picture over time, multiple times. And I have a couple variations of this. I actually have a PowerPoint presentation that have several pictures of the night version of myself. One of them is Marine Corps boot camp graduation. Literally only 13 weeks after the bitch version has the night version, the hero version. It's Marine Corps boot camp. There's another picture in there of just me and the family at a family photo shoot where me and my son are holding some of our little pium-piums, and we're there with my wife and daughter, and we're just having fun doing a photo shoot, going to the shooting range afterwards. And that's one of the pictures of the best version of myself. That when I think of that picture, it's a change of state. When I think of that Marine Corps graduation picture, it's a change of state. You remember the Marine Corps core values of honor, courage, and commitment. You remember to be at your best, that you have to earn that title every day of a Marine, but also you have to earn that title of the hero, of the superhero, earn the title every day of a husband, of a father, of a motherfucking man. That is your duty and obligation as a man to earn those every day. You're not entitled to that shit. You're not guaranteed those things every day. You have to earn those titles every day, and you do it by flipping the switch and changing your state, and you tap into it this way. So you have this detailed description now of this hero version of yourself. You have this picture. Now I want you to give this hero version of yourself a name, just like we did with the bitch. And the bitch was the scumbag. The name for this hero version for myself is the freak, or just simply dad. And it could have a couple names. There's no fucking rules to this. It could be a phrase. It could be an actual name. If somehow the name Billy connects you as the best version of yourself, fucking go for it. You're now, Billy is how you change your state. Whatever the fuck works for you. There's no rules here. What, you don't like the name Billy? Cameraman's giving me weird looks because I said Billy. Whatever it is for you. For me, that change of state of the best version of myself is the freak, because I know when I'm the freak, if you watch this before, there's an entire episode on what the freak is, an entire episode on what a freak father is. And the freak, as you know, stands for freedom, role model, enthusiasm, attitude, and freaking kill. And that is the freak is my name for the night, for the hero, the best version of myself, the superhero version of myself, or just dad. All I have to think is freak or dad. It's easy to then be on the right path and make the right decisions in life when you're up against and thinking of yes or no, do I do this thing? Because those names, the freak and dad, tie into that description that we just went over when you answered all those freaking questions. And then what's the mantra of this best version of yourself? What is the mantra? For me, it's just, I am fucking awesome. Tell myself that all the time. No one ever told me that when I was a kid. So I tell myself that all the time. I've talked about it before on previous episodes, but I was on the floor playing Legos with Tyson when he was like 4 years old. He just finished this massive like 4,000 piece Lego set for like 16-year-olds and up. And I was like, wow, you freaking did that by yourself in like a week and a half, Tyson. You're freaking awesome. You are fucking awesome. He's like, thanks, Daddy. Anyone ever tell you were awesome when you were a kid? I'm like, nope. He's like, well, you're freaking awesome, Daddy, because he won't say the F word. Hell no. Say the F word, Tyson. He won't do it. You might hear it all the time, but he won't do it. He won't say it. So I am freaking awesome all I have to do is tell myself I am freaking awesome. And there's no fear. There's no doubt. There's no procrastination. It's just kill. Go and get it done. Attack. No questions asked. Simple. Because the second I say I am freaking awesome, I'm thinking of those pictures of the best version of myself. I'm thinking of the name. I'm thinking of the detailed description of that motherfucking superhero. And it makes it easy. Then you could tie a song into that same version of yourself, that picture version of yourself. There should be a song. So now you also can have another connection. These are all different modalities to change your freaking state. Different ways of doing it. Think about it. If I just hear the songs, and there's several songs that click, we don't have to go into them because the songs change literally all the time. I don't even know the names of some of these songs, but I know the rhythm to it or the beat of it or the words of it or whatever. But there are certain songs that it just connects to that superhero, that best version of yourself, that awesome motherfucking version of yourself. And it connects. You just hear the song and boom, it taps into that deep, detailed description that you just wrote out. Same with the picture. Same with the name that you gave that superhero. And same with the mantra. So he also needs a mantra. And for me, it's I am fucking awesome. What's your mantra to tap into that? You craft all this stuff. You have weapons on you at all times to be in control of your state, that you control how you show up to every fucking situation and no one else can control it. You're cutting the puppet strings of society, of the world, of the internet, of anyone out there, of controlling you and your emotions and how you show up and how you react to situations. You are taking control of your life. In the project, we say, I have the power and control to change my circumstances. You're in control of everything in your life. And that's what flipping the switch is, being able to change your state so you are finally in control of it and you're not a slave to society or social media or what the norms are, and you're not conforming to the bullshit that's out there. You're able to control your own state and change your state as needed depending on what the situation calls for. And you could change it at the snap of a finger, flipping that switch from bitch to beast. It's a superpower. So the third segment, we have to get into the beast. We did the bitch. We did the freaking superhero, that best version of yourself. There's also that extra gear that as men, we need to be able to tap into, and that's the motherfucking beast. The beast version of yourself. That deep, dark passenger that's inside that needs to be ready and controlled when called upon to show up as a fucking savage. Now that hero, that knight version of yourself was showing up as a servant. The beast is showing up when it's time to fucking do some gangster shit. Time to be a fucking savage. That's what the beast version of yourself is. And we're not even going to have to go into a description and answer all those questions because all those answers would be the same thing. What do they say about him? He's a badass motherfucker. What do they think of him? He's a badass motherfucker. All those questions are the same. We don't even need to answer those questions. You don't need a detail. You know what that beast is. But the thing is, men, we have a problem with controlling that fucking beast. You need to control that shit and use it Again, weaponize that beast instead of letting people push the buttons and make the beast come out in the wrong ways, at the wrong time, to the wrong degree, to the wrong people, in the wrong situations. You control the motherfucking beast when you learn how to control your fucking state. So think of a picture of that beast version of yourself. I have so many of them that go into that category. It's a lot from the project, from instructing the project, from some workouts with the kids, just straight savagery going on when we're training together and doing some 24-hour challenges and just doing impossible fucking shit together. Or when it's just taking the men through the project, through the suffering, and we're in there, in the shit, in the trenches together, making it happen. That's the beast version. Come up with that picture for the beast. You already know the description, badass motherfucker. That's it. It's fucking time to go. It's time to freaking go. Give him a name. What is the name of your beast version? For me, it came from my brother. I had the same name. It's just Ekbo. It's just it came off of Rambo. Just ready to run through the freaking jungle and do what has to get done, doing savage shit when it's called upon. When it's called upon. When it's needed to tap in to that beast version. And you also need a mantra. The beast needs a freaking mantra. Because it's the same way. You want that picture to be able to change a state. You want the name. You need the music. And you need the mantra. For me, the mantra for that is simply kill. Kill. Attack. No more talking, no more games, just kill. Kill the fear, kill the doubt, kill the procrastination, kill the task in front of you, attack the hill, like we said before, running towards the gunfire when everyone else is running away. It's just, there's no turning back. It is beast. It is the freak mode. It is the beast mode. It is all out. It is all in, all out, all the motherfucking time when he is needed to be called upon under your control and only to the degree that's needed. The mantra is freaking kill. Get it done. Make it happen. Don't procrastinate. Don't hesitate. Boom. Kill. And there should be music for that beast version of you. The song that when you hit, it's the same thing, goes into that beast mode. That's why you have those, your song. That song that just gets you fucking pumped up and you're bulletproof and can run through a fucking brick wall. And you probably listen to it when you're working out, when it's time to go into that beast mode, that freak mode. So get that music down. These are all immediate changes of state to get into the bitch, to weaponize the bitch, to optimize the superhero version of yourself, and to control, use for good, that beast, savage motherfucking version of yourself. Now, a couple additional ways to change your state is your environment. The environment that you're in, the people you surround yourself, the place you live, even the room that you're in can change your state. We have different areas of the house that bring a different type of energy. Like there's offices that only work gets done in those offices. Your environment in your house can change the state. Your environment's also the people that are around you can change your state. Be around the right type of people and it will change your state. Physical movement will change your state. So I have that heavy bags right outside of my office right here. I can go out there and just smash the bags whenever I need to get out some energy or get out some, wouldn't even call it stress, but just extra overloading energy that just needs to be. I'll go out there and smash the bag for a minute or two, or get a workout in, or just hit a couple of exercises in a row just to get that heart rate up, to get some of that energy out. You can control your state by physical movement, one way or the other. The environment you create, the physical environment, the environment of the people. There's people who can change your state. I'm not much for that, but just a sound, a noise, or your little roar, or whatever the hell you want to call it, or a pump of your chest, whatever it is, will change your state. Also, different relics can change your state, like a tattoo or a wristband or whatever it is. Things that are going to remind you. Maybe you have a specific chain that keeps you under control, that helps you change your state. When you start losing your shit, and you remember, oh, here, this thing, this tattoo, this thought, this bracelet, whatever the hell it is, different relics can help you change your freaking state. So I'm telling you right now, just what we went through really quick, and it was a crash course. We really could go a lot deeper into every single one of these sections. Every one of these sections could be an entire episode itself, and we'll dive deeper into this. I told you there's a course coming up. Make sure you sign up for that course, the free course we're going to be doing together on Zoom, a 90-minute course where we're going to actually create all these versions of yourself right there. I'm going to walk you through it and take you through it personally. We're going to do it together, completely free, so look out for that coming up in the next few weeks. But this is all about changing your state from bitch to beast. Enough of being the bitch and making it your excuse, and enough of the blaming and complaining and people pleasing and all this other bullshit, and that's in that bitch version of yourself, that passive aggressiveness, that approval seeking, sniveling little boy, stop being a bitch, change your state, flip the switch from bitch to beast. Use these strategies, tactics. Share with me. I want to hear what have you named each of those 3 avatars of yourself? What is a song for each of those? What is the description of them? And even send me the picture. I want to see some, especially those bitch version pictures. Those are always entertaining. I want to see, what is that bitch version of yourself? What is the beast version of yourself? What is the superhero version of yourself? Put that down there in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Share it with me, and I'll post all of my pictures that I'm talking about in the comments down below too. So I want to see what you got. I'm going to show you what I have, and let's start changing our state. Control your fucking self. Control your emotions. And in case no one told you yet today, you are fucking awesome. No excuses.